Hi Lan, hi folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new, I use he, him pronouns. Today is Monday, April 29th, 2024. I'm just gonna start saying the dates of videos when I film them because sometimes I post videos, actually oftentimes I post videos on different days that I actually film them, and then sometimes when I look at videos back, I'm like, when did I actually film this video? I could technically scroll down my camera roll and like find the specific date, but that's too tedious, so I'm just gonna start saying dates of when I film videos. And I got another haircut, and it's the first haircut I got since I got back from Vietnam. So yeah, my dark hair here is just concealed with the background, so you probably can't see much of it. Today's video, I want to talk about a concept I thought of called mental nourishment, and like the things I've been doing recently that have been giving me a lot of mental nourishment and like my thoughts on that. Up until last week, I've been feeling pretty dull in life, as in like there's nothing actively going on, like there's no like, I'm not like going through any active trauma or like bad things happening in my life or anything like that, or like I'm not experiencing depression or anything like that. It's just everything is good, but I feel like things have been lacking in my life and I'm just feeling like mentally dull. It's sort of like analogous to when we like don't eat a balanced meal, or like we don't have a balanced diet and we just feel like a bit off and like ugh and like not great physically if we like don't eat a balanced diet, and we might be missing some nutrients from like certain food groups, etc., and we might feel a bit off and like sluggish, or like our performance isn't great. And the same concept applies mentally for me. It's like I've just been feeling so stuck in routine that I needed to break out of it. Like I needed something to break out of it. And I guess it's like, I don't know if I should, there's three things I've been doing. Two things I've already done and one thing's still ongoing. So the first one is I started swimming lessons again. I started in like October, November last year, and then I had like 2 lessons and I injured my foot, and then I haven't swam since. But now my foot's all good, and then I restarted swimming lessons and I've been loving it. Tomorrow is my next lesson, but by the time this video is posted, I'm probably gonna have like a lot more lessons by then. It's been great. Just the keeping legs straight to kick and swim is very tiring. And turns out my boxing legs and taekwondo legs aren't completely applicable to swimming, because the swimming with straight legs is a very different stamina to me having legs bent and like moving around. Because in taekwondo and boxing, I don't have my legs straight. I'm not just constantly doing this with my legs. So that's a burner, but I like the challenge. And it's the lack of challenge that's also contributing to why I've been feeling so dull in life. Is everything's just cruising and I need a challenge. I need something to work towards. I need active goals to work towards. That gives me sort of excitement and momentum to just keep on growing in different ways, essentially. Yeah, swimming's tiring. I also started doing boxing on the water because I'm just like, I had a thought like, what if I just like go underwater and start throwing punches? What would that be like? And then it turns out to be so fun. I love just shadow boxing on the water now. I just like take a breath and just like throw combination punches, or just throw a bunch of straight punches or hooks, and then just like come up for air when I feel exhausted for that breath, really. My record for straight punches at the moment, at the time of filming this video, is like 50 straight punches underwater, like 50 straight punches like this. Fully extended arm, not like half like this. It's like fully extended punches. So that my record is currently 50 in one breath. It's really fun. So like that's a challenge too, because I love like doing martial arts on land, but when I add the element of underwater, it just gives it this novelty, this new layer of like, oh, I'm taking something I know, right? I'm taking something I know and I'm taking something I'm good at and like adding a challenge to it, which is like going underwater, and then boxing, which is like resistance from the water. I can't exactly breathe out with every breath. I have to conserve my oxygen underwater, etc., which makes it so much fun. The second thing I did recently, which I absolutely loved, and it's just wild and amazing, is I was an extra on an independent short film. So I'm in trans groups, and then I saw this person post about they needed extras for their short film, and it's like the story is like about a trans person finding chosen family in their life, and they needed extras for the scenes, and I jumped on it immediately when I saw trans short film. We need extras. I jumped on it because I love doing film stuff. That's why I make YouTube videos. That's why I've made short films in the past. I love doing film stuff. And one of sort of the things I've always wanted to do since I started making films and videos was to collaborate. Was to do film stuff with other people and not necessarily just keep doing film stuff on my own. So when I saw a collaborative opportunity, as in I get to be part of someone else's short film, I was so excited, and I just jumped on it, emailed the producer, and then I'm in. And then the first day on set, we had 2 filming days, and I said I could come to both, so I was there for both days. Very long days, by the way. Filming is tedious. When I made my short films, it took forever. But this was like when I walked on set, right? When I arrived, it was like the location was like a gay bar, and we'd booked out the entire gay bar just to film throughout the past few days of filming. I got on set. I assumed, right, it was an independent short film. This was not like Hollywood or anything. I thought it was like maybe just like 2-3 people, one person with like a DSLR camera, one person like operating sound, and like maybe like another assistant person or something. Turns out it was like a full-on like professional production. Like there was like lights on the ceilings. There were like blackout curtains to block the lights coming in to replicate like a night bar or like club. Not exactly a club. It's like a bar, but like replicating nighttime. It was like these giant ass cameras that they use on like professional, well, this is a professional film set, but like the cameras you see like behind the scenes of like Hollywood films, like those cameras. There was like the boom mic person, like everything was professional. I just came in, I walked in, I'm like, I looked around, I'm like, wait. I was like so baffled that like it wasn't like a legit film set, and it's not just like an amateur film like my films where I just like do static shots and like have, yeah, it's like wild, and like things around the bar, the tables, the chairs, everything have been moved around specifically for the film. And I'm just like, I came in and I'm just like, whoa, like I'm on an actual film set, like what? And I was so excited because since I started making my own films, I wanted to make films with other people and like do creative things with people. And that's been pretty hard. And it's only until this year that these type of opportunities have come up. And yeah, I want to elaborate on this. So the first scene that was filmed on that day was like, they needed like an extra, like one of the extras to be like a cloakroom person. And when they said that, like no one put their hand up, like no one volunteered. But in my head, I'm like, I want to do it. I want to do it. And then I was like really hesitant at first because like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like I've never been on a film set or like done anything like this. Like I've made my own films and I've sort of like acted in my own trans short films, but like that was like amateur. This is like an actual like professional set and everything. And I was hesitant, but no one put their hand up. And then it's like a few 2-3 minutes later, still no one was putting their hand up, and then the director was like on a eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and like just pick someone random. And I think they were also hesitant to, cause like they were like, I think in their head they were like, I don't know who to pick. And then I had enough courage, like after like a few minutes of building up the courage, because I knew I wanted to do it, and I just wanted to jump on as many opportunities as I can. And I'm like, I'll do it. I volunteer. And I was like, I volunteer as tribute, like in Hunger Games, and I was so hyped. It felt a bit awkward when everyone was cheering for me because I volunteered to do it. I was just like, everyone's like, whoa, go live. And I'm just like, and then it took me to like the dressing room, and then I had light makeup put on my face. My hair was still long. Like, I didn't get a haircut yet last week when I was doing filming. I was just like, wow, like this is like legit. And then took me back to the actual set itself, because the bar had like the main area with the actual bar and tables, and there was like the entrance to the bar type area, and then we turned into like a cloakroom area, like blackout blinds, made it really dark, set up specific lights for specific colors. There was a fog machine, and I'm just like, what? And then yeah, as the cloakroom guy, just like I was like in the background as like the main character was like coming into the bar, and I was just like taking people's like coats and like hanging them up and like giving them like a fake ticket type thing. So the first scene, it was so cool. I was also the cloakroom guy in like the last few scenes we filmed, so like to have continuity, I wore the same hoodie, and I was like the same cloakroom person like throughout the cloakroom scenes, because we need continuity in film. So yeah. The other scenes were mostly like me sitting at a bar and just like mime talking. Like I've never mime talked in my life, so it's like, because we had actors who are like having actual dialogue. They were like mic'd up, like the mics were hidden, but like they were mic'd up, and we didn't want to like overlap the chatter. So like the people in the background, like the extras, we were just like, we were literally like mime talking to each other, like pretending to talk but not actually making any noise with like our voice box. And that was so funny. I tried not to laugh. I tried not to laugh when they said action, but like I laughed in between takes. I like cut and I started laughing and stuff because it was just so funny, but it was awkward at the same time. But the more I did it, like the more natural it became, in a sense. Like on the second day of shooting, it became more natural. I felt less awkward about it compared to the first time I did it. I was just it was so interesting. Like I enjoy acting. I enjoy acting. I just don't do it like professionally, and I like don't pursue it as a career, but I do enjoy doing this film acting stuff. And the other scenes, like we were pretending to drink at the bar, and there were props of like bottles and cans and everything. Like everything was set up to look really realistic. And the other scenes was like I was just dancing in the background, like a gay bar or like a club night type situation. We were just like raving in the background, like, and this point is like really important. Like it's like I've grown from just this experience, because I'm typically very self-conscious about dancing in front of people. Besides my family, like besides dancing and being like completely random in my house, I've never danced or like gone wild, like freely gone wild in the presence of other people outside of my house. And this was the first time I've ever done that. And I think the fact that I was like acting really helped me, because it's not natural to me. I get really self-conscious, but then in the context of acting, right? I was just like going, like none of us were drinking like actual alcohol. We're just pretending, like full on dancing and like to like music. And to me, in those moments, even though I was acting, for me, I was not acting. I don't know if that makes sense. Like the acting for me was very like real. Like it was actually me like letting loose. Like no one knew like that I've not done that before, because other people like they will talk about like going party and clubbing. They're like, oh, I can't dance when I'm like sober and stuff. But me in my head, I'm like, I've never done this like ever, sober or not, like never ever outside of my house. So I was just letting loose, like moving in a way that felt very natural to my body, and I didn't think. It was no think, just do. It's just they're just like dance, feel the music, everything. Like they're just like directors like dance, feel the music, action, and I'm just like, I just let loose in a way I've not done before in public or like in front of other people outside of my house. So the acting wasn't really acting for me because it was very real. It was very real for me. And in that moment, in those moments actually, it's like I didn't think about being watched. I didn't think about the fact that I was being recorded and that I'm actually doing this for a short film. Like none of that crossed my mind when action was yelled. And as I kept doing it, like we had to do the scene a lot of times, and we did other scenes that involved like dancing in the background multiple times. Like there were multiple scenes with like extras dancing in the background. And I didn't, it was like the cameras were not even there. And I just like was dancing. There was like a group of us, we were dancing in a group, and we were just like, it was just fun in general. And I didn't feel self-conscious, which is weird. Like it was like I didn't feel self-conscious. I didn't restrain myself being like conservative dancing, don't go too hard, don't like rave too hard. I just let loose and like full on like dance like it was the last night of my life or something. For the first time I've ever done it. And it's just like sometimes I just need to do and not think, because I think a lot and I logify everything. And these experiences like are teaching me like just let loose. Like it just sometimes in life I just need to dance like no one's watching. And that's what I did on set when I was like acting, but it was like real for me. And I stayed till like the very end of the shoot on the last day, and it was so satisfying being part of the group when the director yelled, "That's a wrap, everybody." It was just like amazing. Like throughout the film shoot, this sense of like community and camaraderie, it was just beyond anything my younger self could have imagined being a part of. Like it's just absolutely amazing to have that sense of community and camaraderie and being part of something that hits quite close to home, because being trans myself and having found chosen family and stuff, like this is like, it hits close to home. And being able to like be part of someone else's journey and filmmaking and storytelling, it's just, it is mental nourishment for me. The other thing I did recently was perform in a queer theatre show. And the performance happened in early March. And my little segment, I had a like 2-minute segment, and it was storytelling through costume design. And my little story was about overcoming internalized transphobia, basically realizing that I'm not cisgender, and then being plagued by all of this transphobia that I internalized about being a freak and not good, like not human, undeserving, etc, etc, etc. And then breaking free from that, and then not letting that have power over me anymore, essentially. Basically, what once had power over me became my power. And my costume was a martial arts gi tie-dyed. So I took martial arts gi, like white martial arts uniform, tie-dyed it in the colors of a phoenix, which is like red, yellow, orange, and there was a little bit of purple in there, like light purple in there too, to add color. And tie-dyed that, so I was like trying to replicate like a phoenix, and then we built a little cage out of like traffic cone material. Like we worked with a professional costume designer who like was a genius in helping us bring ideas to life. And so my cage was made of like this traffic light material, not traffic light material, like traffic material where, you know what, I'm just gonna put pictures. Yeah, so that's the gi, and then that's the cage, and then in the show I walk down the stage with like really like trapped in the cage. Like I walk from the back in, trapped in the cage, get on the catwalk, and then I break free from the cage, and then I start doing kicks, punches, and then at the end break a board, basically symbolizing that yes, I was once trapped in internalized transphobia, and then I break out of internalized transphobia, and then I have all this freedom. I have all this power, and like my power is meant to be represented in all the punches and kicks, and then the board breaking at the end. The board breaking sort of symbolizing like you can't break me anymore, and then just like laying all my rage into the board, basically, and being like fuck you type thing, like fuck you to internalized transphobia type thing. And then I get off, and that was an interesting experience because I only had like 5 days to rehearse and learn my part before I actually performed on stage. So but it's because I was overseas in February when the main rehearsals were happening, when the stage blocking, the main rehearsals are happening throughout the entirety of February. And I was overseas the entirety of February. So when I got back, we had like basically 5 days until the show on Friday night. So we had full day rehearsals on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and half of Friday. And our first show was on Friday night, and then we had 2 more shows on Saturday, the next day. So basically I had 5 days to learn my part and figure out how the hell theater in action actually works, and build enough self-confidence to like be able to not look like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on stage. Again, I've never done theater before. Like I've not been a theater kid, never performed in theater in my entire life, let alone have 5 days to prepare for my first ever performance ever. And it took a lot of rehearsal and moral support from the cast, my castmates, and the director, and basically everyone, because we all supported each other through our acts and performances. Took a lot of that to build my confidence up, and also just doing things. It links to the point I made when I was talking about the film and raving and dancing. Basically just doing it and not overthinking it, and just trusting myself that I can do it instead of questioning whether I could do it. There were times during rehearsal where I was starting to ruminate. Like the director was like, I'm like, I don't know how to stand like to finish my act, and she's like, do this pose, she's suggesting, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to stand, and she's like, I just showed you how to stand, and I'm like, oh. So basically there was no time for anxiety to ruminate, and anxiety had no time to ruminate because I just had to keep doing things. It was just like action, go. Basically the action shut down the anxiety, because when I'm like on the go and continuously moving and physically carrying out performances, I don't have the time to like sit there and be like, oh shit, like I don't know if I can do this, blah blah blah. So basically that shut down the anxiety, and then as I just kept doing it, I'm just like, oh, I'm actually getting this. And then it's like, oh, this starting to feel natural. And then I've rehearsed it to the point where I was in time with the music, I was in time with my cues, I knew exactly what to do. And then I just executed that on Friday night at the first show, and then the third show, basically just executing. With my choreo for martial arts, I had help rehearsing the choreographing the first part of it, and the other part of it was just I improvised. My boxing combos, I improvised. Whatever kicks I was gonna do to exit out, I improvised. I did not think. I'm just like, just do what I feel natural, and I just trusted my body. And then it turned out amazing because I had people, I'm very still awkward with praise and compliments. I had people coming up to me after the show and being like, how do you kick so high? And they were saying, you did amazing. And then I actually injured my leg on the Friday show because I jumped and I didn't warm up properly, and then I did a jumping kick, I injured my leg. And then at the second show and the third show, I was working with like a slightly injured leg, like overstretched leg, and no one knew I was in pain. I was in pain during the second performance in front of the actual audience, like, but no one knew I was in pain because I was acting really well, and no one knew I was in pain. And it was, I had friends come to my show, and I'm like, did you know I was in pain? I asked my friends, did you know I was in pain? And they were like, no, you did amazing. And I'm like, interesting. So that happened. With both the film production and the theater show, the psychological and emotional rewards that I got from it have been like long lasting, and the things I took away from it have been like of great impact in my life. Like what I mean by long-term psychological and emotional reward is that I felt the high, I felt the excitement with the film stuff. I still feel that joy from 2 days ago, like from over 2 days ago. I still feel that joy and like that sense of community and connection from partaking in the project, and the like the feeling of fulfillment of doing something is so fun and so meaningful. That sticks with me for a longer period of time. And with like short-term rewards, I mean something like watching a YouTube short, watching a TikTok video. Not that I use TikTok, but like say a YouTube short video. That's just like temporary, very short, being like, oh, that was interesting. Then it just like, I don't feel this long-term type of sense of fulfillment and meaning that is important in mental nourishment for me. That's lasted, and it just makes me crave more. It's like this. It's like eating a nourishing meal. You feel fuller for longer, and you feel good, like eating a nourishing meal or a healthy meal. We feel good, we feel nourished, and we don't get hungry as quickly. We're not eating rubbish that doesn't fuel our bodies. It's the same with doing stuff like theater and film. It gives me longer term mental nourishment and fulfillment. And it shuts down or like settles the feeling of dullness that I've been feeling. And I realized that I really want to, and I need to do more of this community engagement stuff, partaking in different creative projects to continue, like keep up the feeling of like this long-term psychological reward. And the other thing about mental nourishment is like doing things that challenge me, doing novel things. Sometimes just throwing myself like completely out of my zone of comfort, and things that I think I cannot do, things that I think I cannot tolerate, or or whatnot because of certain reasons or certain belief reasons. Like for example, with the film stuff, it was like a lot of social interaction, right? It was new people, there were flashing lights, there was loud music during the dance scenes, if and I thought like, wow, this is gonna be annoying. Like if I knew what was gonna happen in advance, my brain would go, yeah, I don't like this sense. I don't like this. There's too many people. There's flashing lights. There's the dark environment all day. There's the loud music. It's sort of crowded during the scenes of like the rave and the clubbing. I don't think I would like this. Like if I knew in advance, hypothetically, my brain would go down that path because it's like, oh, I'm autistic. I know I don't like sensory overload. It was sensory overload to be honest, but then I took breaks and stuff, which made it okay. It's like, I'm not gonna like this sensory overload. I want to be so overwhelmed. And if I start talking to myself like that before the actual event, then of course I'm gonna be self-sabotaging. But when I got there and I started doing all this, I just felt so happy. Even though I was like, admittedly, I was sensory overloaded, but I'm like, this is okay. I can take breaks, I can rest, I take breaks, I come back, I feel great. Like, I took breaks the second day. The first day I pushed it a lot, realizing that wasn't good, so I took more breaks during the second day of filming, which worked out a lot better. But I didn't self-sabotage by thinking, I can't do this, I've not done this before, I cannot do this because I've now done this before. I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna mess things up. If I start self-sabotaging before I even do the thing, then I'm already putting myself at a disadvantage. And of course, I'm gonna perform worse because I believe I'm gonna perform bad. But during the theater show and the film shoot, I had no time for anxiety. I had no time to ruminate. It's just like, I might feel a little nervous, being like, this is new. But I'm so hyped. It was like, for me, it's like, oh, this is new. Wow, I didn't expect this, but I'm so hyped for this. And I was just in that headspace and not self-sabotaging. And then from this, like, I'm just like, if I enter new experiences in future and stuff, I'm just gonna think, yes, I've not done this before. I have no experience with this, but I'm so hyped to be part of this. I'm so hyped to learn. I'm so hyped to just give things a go. And that's sort of the mindset I'm moving forward with. And this is the mindset that's going to lead me to have a lot more mental nourishment. Because if I self-sabotage, I'm going to be stuck in a rut. And if I'm stuck in a rut, I wouldn't want to engage in things because I'm just stuck in my own head. And that's going to feeling dull. It's a whole cycle. So now I'm just like, again, yeah, I've not done this before. I'm so hyped to learn, I'm so hyped to try, just give things a go and not beat myself up if I make a mistake or if something doesn't go as planned. Because if I don't have any experience in something, of course, if things don't go to plan or if I make a mistake, that's bound to happen. That's how I'm meant to learn. If I am already a professional, then I would have known all the mistakes already, right? So it's about just giving things a go, and I'm just like, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to just give things a go. I'm here to find sense community. I'm just here to like have a laugh with people and just I'm just saying the same things in different words. Have a great time, connect with people, hang out, and just learn things along the way and grow in the process. Like, I don't have to take it too seriously. I don't have to take life too seriously. I don't have to take going to a film shoot or like a queer theater show too seriously. I'm not like, when I say don't take it too seriously, I don't mean like not focus and, you know, show up 5 hours late or completely miss a show. I mean, just having fun with it and not treating it as like, oh, this is a life or death situation. I have to do everything completely right, otherwise I'm gonna fuck up and blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't have to do that. It's just chill. And this is what I'm moving forward with. Pretty sure this video has been like over 40 minutes already, I'm gonna guess. I think that's all I had for this video. If I have more thoughts about mental nourishment, I might make a second video, but for now, that's all the thoughts I have cooked at the moment. Storytelling, it was like telling stories about what I've been doing, basically my thoughts and reflections on it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it like inspired you to go do something new and not beat yourself up for it if things don't go according to plan or our own expectations, because if we take everything too seriously, we're just going to stress ourselves out. And I say this from someone who grew up with severe social anxiety, had to break out of anxiety, and just constantly live in a state of perfectionism all the time. And yeah, doing these big part of these experiences has challenged my perfectionism, because what does that even look like when you're dancing and just letting loose? Yeah, that's just an example. Thanks for watching. I might have said this already, but I can't remember. I hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, have a great morning, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you in the next one.